You're a realtor and you have hired a photographer to photograph your listing. Do you own the images? Can you share the images? Quick answer, no. Let's make this simple so you understand copyright. How about some more common questions? Can I use the amenities, aerials, or other condo buildings for my listing? Can I use the neighborhood photos for my listing? Can I use other photos I found on the internet? Can I share the images with the homeowners to advertise a property for rent? Can I share the images with a stager, builder, contractor, interior designer, or homeowner? The answer is no. Let's talk about copyright. First, a disclaimer. I am not a lawyer. I'm a photographer. I'm a media provider. I'm a videographer. Let's get into this. A realtor has the right to use the images, video, or other media to help promote and sell their listing for the life of the listing. They do not have the right to share the media unless it has been explicitly written in a contract or agreement that copyright ownership has been transferred to the realtor or other person by default. The photographer owns the images and has copyright ownership the moment they click the shutter.
Wait a minute, I paid for the photos. How do I not own them?
You have paid your photographer for a license to use the images. To use the images on realtor.com, realtor.ca, Zillow, or other real estate websites, social media, blogs, and other promotional materials. That license does not allow you to then distribute the files to other companies or other parties, including builders, stagers, designers, and more, for them to use in their marketing, even though they're willing to pay and reimburse you to have them.
But I paid for the photos. I should be able to do whatever I want with them.
Not true again. You have a license to use the images to sell the listing and promote your business. You do not own the copyright. The photographer does. Let's use some examples. Just like software, you purchase the rights to use Microsoft Office, but you can't sell or distribute this copy. Another comparison would be the music streaming services. You pay for the rights to stream music, but you don't own the music itself. If you want to own the rights to music, you have to pay a much larger fee than your streaming subscription. A photographer sells you a limited usage right to use those images for a much lower cost than if you were buying full rights.
I took over the property listing from another agent. Can I use those photos?
Some agents will take over the property listing from another agent and continue to use those same images, even if they haven't paid for them. Or will find images of the same condo, apartment complex, or use photos of the common areas. So they'll use photos of the pool, exteriors, aerial photos of the building, and use those images they find online for their online advertising without paying for the images or seeking approval from the photographer. The real estate agent is technically breaking the law. To put it more bluntly, they are stealing.
I found images on Google of the property. Can I use those photos?
Agents will sometimes find local area images on Google of the property and assume that those images are free for them to use. So they might see another listing in their area where a professional photographer has taken some images of the local landmarks, river, park, school, or tourist attraction and save those photos and use them in their listing. Again, the real estate agent is technically breaking the law and stealing.
How does this affect real estate listings?
Information on multiple listing services is likely to contain some copyright material, specifically photographs, virtual tours, artistic renderings, floor plans, architectural drawings, and videos. In the absence of a written agreement to the contrary, copyright protection, for example in the photographs of a building, vests automatically with the creator. It is important to keep in mind who owns copyrighted material and acquire appropriate assignments in writing.
Photos are of a home that our company designed and built. Don't photos belong to the home builder? Can I share the images with the trades?
When it comes to copyright, what's in question is the intellectual property that is owned by the photographer, which in this case is the photo itself, not of what appears in the photo. The home builder cannot share the images. The photographer has the right to license the images to trades or other third parties.
So, why is this even an issue?
Photographers should be compensated fairly for their work, and problems arise when money is lost because someone uses their photos without permission and then profits, or potentially can profit from the photos. If you hire a photographer to shoot listing photos and then a builder or property manager ends up using those same images for marketing purposes, the photographer loses out in two ways. One, they didn't collect usage fees. Two, they weren't hired for another shoot. And the offending party now has the potential to make a lot of more money off the photos they have no rights to.
So the photographer can sell the images?
It is the photographer who can sell an image licensed to another party. They also have the rights to sell images to cabinet makers, stove companies, faucet makers, and more. This is how a photographer makes a living and puts food on the table for his family. Don't think we're just talking about ourselves, the photographer. We're looking out for you. By letting other businesses use those photos for free is not fair to you. You pay good money to hire a photographer to create those images that you can use to promote your listing, your company or business, and your brand. Why does another company get all the benefits of using the same photos without having to pay for them? So what is the moral of the story? Don't post or use photographs unless you have permission. Not sure if you have permission? Reference your agreement and then ask your photographer if you need further clarification. There is much more to copyright law, but I just want to keep it simple with what matters to realtors, home builders, interior designers, and other people who license images, video, and other media from the photographer. The bottom line is you need explicit permission to use any photos that you did not take. Permission needs to be clearly outlined in a written and a signed agreement between the photographer and the agent or whoever is paying for the photos. I hope you find this useful. Again, I am not a lawyer, I'm a photographer, and I just want to educate you so that we all work together great and the photographer's not losing out or you're not losing out and someone else is gaining for free. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.